All right, it's been quite a while since I've done anything with this boat, hence the big old list here of things that I have not completed. Main one being bulkhead and fuel cell, all of it, yeah. But instead of doing the things I need to do, I'm going to instead make it quicker. So in chatting with a guy who is kind of renowned in the horsepower aspect of the skis and holds a lot of titles with racing and everything, he suggested that I stay with a Supercharger setup for snappiness, and if I plan to use it as a mini, it still needs to be able to go through the creeks and shallow areas and all that kind of stuff. And I need to retain the snappy throttle. And I could probably do a small exhaust housing turbo to still make it snappy. But if I'm going to go the turbo route, it's probably going to be an all-effort kind of performance speed build. And I first want to see what the Supercharged world is all about. So before that, I need to make some of the stuff look a little bit better. Sandblast the manifold, and a lot of things have to get done to this setup. So this is going to be a video all about kind of finishing and making this boat faster and getting this midwall installed with the Supercharger. So it's going to be kind of difficult to fit everything in here, but in chatting with Dan, talking about maybe integrating an intake into the midwall with like a cabin filter on the side or something that's like easily replaceable, and it just boots onto it and look real slick. So I'm kind of rambling, but in the next couple days I'm going to go pick up a Supercharger and an ECU with an 8600 RPM target with an 8800 RPM rev limit. So I think that's 1100 RPM over what this currently redlines at. I might be making that up. But yeah, so it should rip. It should rip. So next thing is probably going to be me checking out one of his other builds. So here's that. Wattscraft. What size is this, Dan? 14 foot 2 inches. Dan built a sweet motor for it, Yamaha 1.8. We're gonna go drive it. That braking is pretty cool. to the touch, actually cold and warm. Unbelievable. Wow. This is probably 240 degrees. Yeah, this is blazing hot. This is the intercooler core, and then this is the outlet. Huge difference. Amazing. Braking. Okay, a pile of parts. So I rode in Dan's build and pretty well addicted. So Aeromotive 340 fuel pump, and then a rising rate fuel pressure regulator. I don't need the rising rate function yet. Just gonna set it and then monitor the AFRs with the wideband O2. So got to get that installed, and then bought a supercharger with a I think it's a 16-pound wheel, but at my RPM it's probably going to be around 16-17 with a proper intercooler, which this is not a proper intercooler, but this is going to be the intercooler until my my air to water intercooler shows up. So yeah, ECU, and then at the end of the season, whenever it's been working fine and fast as hell for a decent amount of time, I am going to rebuild it with these forged H-beam rods. And obviously I don't know the piston size just yet because I have to determine what size to overbore and then hone and all that. So but yeah, quite a slurry of things to take care of to get this thing ripping. So yeah, I'm gonna install all this and see what it does. Before all of this, I know the fastest I've ever seen was 63 mile an hour downstream on the Mississippi, and I think it was flowing probably 5 or 6 miles an hour. So it's safe to say 58 miles an hour. GPS was the fastest I've really ever seen. So 58 miles an hour will be the baseline. And then, yeah, we'll do another run with ECU, supercharger, everything working the way it should. AFRs in the mid 11s on the big end. And yeah, should rip. Also, this ECU, he has my limiter set at 8800 and the target at 8600. So this thing's gonna rip. All right, I'm gonna get to installing all this and then take it out to the boat. Right. Okay, it is the next day and I've gotten absolutely nothing done. So the boat is in extreme need of 2 new tires. I have a spare, so it'll have 3 new tires that are good to go. Don't need another blowout. But yeah, I'm gonna put tires on it, take that boat off the lift, and then immediately start on fixing the gas filler neck situation. And then yeah, I'm gonna start pulling things off and installing things. So here is a time lapse of that. All right, I took the boat up to Mark Twain Lake this weekend and put a couple more hours on it. Everything's running great. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start the mods. So I'm gonna install some spark plugs, the Aeromotive fuel pump, 340 LPH, and then fuel pressure regulator, and then this air to water intercooler. So I will get those few things installed real quick. Actually, intercooler is going to be after the supercharger. Yeah. All right, I'm going to get those installed right now and come back when it's done. All right, the new fuel pump is in, the Aeromotive 340, and next order of business is to get a fuel pressure block off regulator, or fuel regulator block off, so that no fuel gets recycled back into the housing at 43 psi. I was initially just going to drill a hole through the top of the housing here, and then use fuel line to extend down to the pump itself, and then just take it up to the top cap here, so that it's just direct straight up to this thing, and then this would feed into the fuel pressure regulator, and then I would regulate it at 58 psi here. But after chatting with Dan, he said these housings are like $1,000. So I absolutely don't want to destroy this in case I ever go back to stock, which will likely never happen, but I don't want to shoot myself in the foot over a $25 part. So I ordered a block off, regulator block off, and yeah, that should get us sorted. All right, I'm gonna get the ECU installed and then probably work on this until the other parts for the fuel system arrive. The ECU is installed. Now for spark plugs. Oh my God, those are in there too tight. Oh. What? Yeah, that was definitely too tight. And these tell you how to install them and how much to rotate them. So once you get them snug, 1/8 of a turn, or actually it says 1/2 to 2/3 of a turn. That was in there. Caught up on. Oh. That's the factory intercooler. I just need a pair of pliers. Okay, now to take the supercharger out. Actually, let's do a side-by-side comparison of the intercoolers. Oof. Yeah, gravity-wise, this one's a whole lot more dense. Same rough physical size, but the actual intercooler core is a lot larger. You know, I don't know. Yeah, it definitely is. Because this tapers. All right, now to get the new supercharger installed. So this is just gear driven off of a cog on the inside. Just spins that, so yeah, pretty straightforward. Looking flashy. Okay, I can't find an efficient way to get this intercooler in here without looking like crap. I mean, I could have it just sprawled out over here somewhere, lay flat, and then just connect it and get the tubing, but I kind of want the aesthetic to look decent and to be sturdy. So what I'm going to do is, the idea is to have the intercooler like so, kind of like in this orientation. I might have to modify that J-pipe, but then where this outlet is for the supercharger, I'm going to clock the bolts 60 degrees. So there's 6 equidistant mounting points on the supercharger. So that allows for 60 degrees of rotation at a time. So I'm just going to move this down 60 degrees and see what that looks like. So I'm hoping that it's going to end up something like this. I've already modified this supercharger to be angled, actually that's 120 degrees, but basically this direction. So I'll move this, actually I might be able to do it right now. Nope. I'll move it that way and install it and see if it works. All right, so the supercharger is installed. It's clocked 60 degrees so that the outlet can seamlessly go into this direction, which gives me more space for the midwall bulkhead, and it allows the air to water to be mounted kind of discreetly on the side. I tried to really get this to mount up under here and have like a tight rotation from the outlet here, but that just didn't happen. And I ended up cutting up the J-pipe, the factory J-pipe, to make this work, but it's pretty sturdy. We'll see how sturdy it is once we have water in there. I might need to make a bracket from there to here, but we'll see. All right, so next order of business is to install the blow-off valve, and I think I'm going to end up TIGging the flange right here. So should look fairly decent, but before I do that, a part for the fuel system arrived. I can put all the fuel system back together and finish this whole aspect up. So I just need to install this fuel regulator block off into this hole, and then stick the clip on, which is somewhere around here, like so. And then now I can install all of this back together in the fuel tank right there. So I will do that, and then I will TIG weld the blow-off valve on. Alrighty, so I don't even think this falls into the looks good from afar but far from good category, because this does not look good from afar. But it will serve the purpose. So snap ring and blow-off valve, all this stuff's installed. So I just got to go stick this into the boat And then once I have this plumbed in, the only other order of business is to sort the O2 sensor. So get the wideband installed. All right, I'm gonna get that installed and then proceed to the O2. All right, I'm gonna reinstall the manifold that I just sandblasted back in here. It looks pretty decent. It used to look absolutely awful. All right, I'm gonna get this installed. We got a full house here. All right, the manifold looks better than the rest of everything now, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Make some things pretty, but he's got that back together. Looking like a goober. But O2 sensors installed. Gonna route all the connector up to the gauge pod, and everyone's making progress. All right, the O2 sensor's installed, manifold's installed, everything's buttoned up loosely. There's things hanging around, but the gauge pods are installed, the O2 sensor works, and it's a lot louder than it used to, or it revs out a lot faster than it ever used to. So I have a feeling it's gonna be pretty rowdy, but all right, we're gonna take this to the boat ramp and go test this one, and he has this one buttoned up as well, so. All right, we have both boats here. Some changes to his and changes to mine. So we're gonna first test his and then test mine. Or both go out and see if they both fail, so we're stranded. We might try that. Okay, it's a little rich on idle. Might actually need to use the rising rate function, but yeah, so far so good. I'm just trying to get this dialed in. I started at 58 and AFRs were close to like 13, so tried to back that up a little bit. So we'll see what it's doing. So going wide open throttle, I see my AFRs climb to like 14, and I'm not liking that, so that's risky. And this last go, I had my check engine light come on, so we have some troubleshooting to do. Okay, as I just mentioned, I had a check engine light that came on, and upon looking at the code, it was code 29, which is intake air pressure sensor out of range effectively. So kind of immediately know that I did a stupid in the pursuit of getting this thing out on the water as quickly as I could. You're not ever supposed to tee into your map sensor line, and often these will actually be just like rigid mounted into the manifold. But yeah, I did something kind of stupid, as you can tell. So this then feeds a vacuum line boost reference that goes to a T, which supplies my boost gauge and my blow-off valve with all the things it needs, and my rising rate function on the fuel pressure regulator. So all of that's kind of stupid, and I kind of set myself up for failure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill and tap this, get the boost reference and the blow-off valve and the rising rate function off of that instead. And yeah, this thing should be ready to go. So I will do that now and put it all back together. Oh, also I need to get a bracket made for this, so that'll be in there too. All right, so I have the manifold out. I have my 1/8 inch 27 hose barb fitting that needs to go in here. I couldn't find an M8 hose barb without having to order it because I kind of wanted this done today. So this is an NPT 1/8 inch 27 hose barb. But fortunately, I was able to find an 1/8 27 NPT tap in this $900 set of tools I bought 10 years ago. All right, I'm gonna get this drilled and tapped. Both sides are going to get a barb fitting. I don't know that I'm gonna use both sides, but while I'm in here, do the metal shavings one time and then have the ability to tap off on the other side if I ever need to. So yeah, here's that. All right, that looks pretty decent. Just gotta stick this in here. See if it actually even threads in. Nice. All right, I'll tighten that up, put some thread locker on it, make a decent seal, and get this back in the boat. Okay, I have my vacuum and boost reference ports installed. It's starting to look pretty good. I should have just done this from the get-go, and my pursuit of getting it on the water and cutting corners only made the whole process take longer. So lesson learned there. But yeah, all right. Well, I'm gonna stick the fuel tank back in and then get this wideband sensor that I already wasted out this quickly reinstalled, and then do some more rips. And I have a new boost gauge that's on the way. The one that's not white and clapped out, so, and one that's exactly 2 1/8 inches and not 2 inches, because it's asymmetrical right now. It doesn't look right, but yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna put all this back together, and then next clip will be cruising down the river. So this thing was actually slower this time than the top speed that I've seen before. So fastest I've seen was 63 mile an hour in this boat, and the quickest I've seen was 58. But by the time it gets to like 7,500 RPM, it's already cavitating and spinning and not going any faster. So I think I'm at the limitation of the impeller. So I ordered a new one with a new wear ring and just have to install it. So this thing should be a good bit quicker. So previously it was a 1321, now it's a 1322. So leading edge, trailing edge degree. So yeah, I'll get this installed and next clip will be back out on the water. All right, I cannot seem to get this impeller off. It is, I guess, 400 horsepower has tightened this thing on into oblivion. No matter how much leverage I put on it, just will not come off. So I'm going to cut a hole in it and then strap it to a board with a chain, hold it down with the tractor. Then I'm gonna use the tractor to break the shaft free. So let's see if that works. This is incredible. So I've cut reliefs into the impeller and oh my god, and affixed it to the trailer. So now I still don't have enough oomph to turn the thing off. So now I've hit it with heat, I've hit it with the plasma torch, try to break it free. So now I'm gonna use the tractor. Let's hope this thing doesn't explode or something silly. This is unbelievable. I just broke my breaker bar. I'm not sure how to get this off. Maybe this is a good opportunity to upgrade to something new. But that means accepting defeat. I gotta get this off somehow. All right, I'll be back whenever I figure that out. Maybe, just maybe, this will work. Box wrench. Box wrench to a separated crane. To a big lever. I think it's coming, or I'm bending the wrench. Oh my goodness. Oh my. All right. I do believe someone really strong tightened that. I don't know. Where did that yeet my bar off to? Somewhere out there. All right, well, I'll be back once this is off. All right, so I see other people had this issue. And they left the map torch on it. They said for minutes. So let's see if this works. I'm probably gonna boil all the grease and any good bearing out of this thing, but worth a shot. This is what I've had to resort to. These are definitely some well-made impellers. So the goal here is to keep milling until I get to the very outside of the threads, which you can barely see right there. Once I get there, then hopefully there's less tension and I can just spin this thing off. So let's see if it works that way. I think we're close. So I can see the individual teeth separating there. So yeah, let's see if this comes off now. All right, I'm not proud about what I had to do to this thing, but it is off. Yeah, you can tell I got into the threads a little bit there, and I got a little aggressive with the milling action, but that is fine. I think everything's fine. I'm gonna install this new impeller and be done with this, and then go test the boat out like I thought I was gonna do yesterday. All right. With how ridiculous that was, I probably have 7 hours into removing that. I think I'm gonna mount it to the front of the boat like a trophy. Something like that. How ridiculous. All right, now I'm gonna install the impeller and go take it out tomorrow. As you push me off, try and spin me as you jump in, you know?
Yeah. So my keys are in your truck, so if we lose your keys, we're fucked.
You got my keys?
Yeah. You have a good spot for them?
Yeah, my pocket. All right.
My T, still good?
Still good to go.
You ready?
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of stuff floating. Look at that spider, dude. The one right here. Dude, there's hellas on that branch. Do you have a rope or anything?
Get you a rip or something, no. Oh my. will say, I think this thing hey Siri, turn on the shop lights. This thing is running absolutely phenomenal. The fastest I've seen was 68.2, but I'm only seeing around 80. I think I've seen 8100 on the RPMs, which is still around 400 off from what the target is set to. So maybe that's an indication that I'm not able to flow enough water, or actually that wouldn't make sense. It might just be that I have too steep of a trailing edge and I might need to pitch down to gain a couple mile an hour. But 68 mile an hour is plenty fast in this thing. So yeah, I think this is gonna end this video. Plenty fast. It shoots out of the water. I do need to put a water box on it because the thing's too loud, but yeah. All right, this is finished.